have a verdict. I know we have lots of folks that are interested in the outcome of this case here. I've also heard at least 6 Amber alerts while I was in the back buzzing in here. So if that happens, I'll just ignore it and pretend I didn't hear it. I want everyone to just understand that the jury's been working diligently on this case for the last 4 weeks of trial and for the last several days of deliberation. I don't want any outbursts one way or the other. If you don't think you'll be able to restrain yourself one way or the other, then you need to step out. All right, we have our button ring. Well, we have 4, but only two are coming.
Michael, did you notice, I couldn't even get it out of my mouth, and you said it before I did. First thing I noticed when they all stood up for the very first time, Melody Farris stood up for the jury to come in the courtroom.
Yeah, she hadn't been doing it. That was the word from our own Matt Johnson, who had been in the courtroom. He did explain that it wasn't the most formal courtroom, and we've certainly seen that from the judge, not the most formal judge we've ever seen, but we both felt like it was not a good idea to stand, even though maybe it was okay. And the attorney explained it, saying that in his mind, he told her not to stand because we're all peers. And so it was an interesting decision by him.
That is, but I will tell you, it's now been clarified in my ear. When we're going live, I made an assumption they were standing for the jury. They were not. They were standing for the judge. So she does stand for the judge. That's what we just witnessed. Now we're waiting on the jury to come in. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for correcting me. And as we're waiting for the jury to come in, now we can see the hands of those standing behind her, and she's not standing. And I thought when the defense attorney said, it's a jury of her peers, we want to be on the same level, that's why she doesn't stand. I don't know if that's going to strike well with people or not, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This jury's been deliberating on day 4 now, looking at the evidence, listening to these calls we've been sharing, Michael, and as a result of all this, we simply are waiting to hear what the verdict is.
Yeah, my understanding is that, like you said, I see people standing behind her, so they must be coming in now, this jury of 12. They were waiting for alternates. They have shown up as well, so we know they're in the courtroom. Again, to me, right now, she looks very concerned, as anyone would be under the circumstances. Just reminding folks. All right, let's get back in the courtroom.
Yes, sir. And is it signed by you as for? Yes, sir. All right. If you'll if you'll hand it to the bailiff, and I'll review it, and then I'll hand it back to you. Back to the foreman. All right, sir, as foreman, I'm going to have you stand and publish your verdict. You can do that just by saying, we the jury, and then to each count, say, we find the defendant guilty or not guilty as to each count.
All right. We the jury, as to the count 5, we find the defendant guilty.
Oh my God.
We the jury, as to count 4, find the defendant guilty.
Oh my God.
We, the jury, as to count 3, we find the defendant guilty.
Oh, hell no!
We, the jury, as to count 2, find the defendant guilty.
Oh.
We, the jury, as to count 1, find the defendant guilty.
Oh my God. How?
Madam Bailiff, you can show it to counsel.
Oh my goodness, how? This don't make no goddamn sense.
All right, anything y'all want to take up?
No, we'd ask you to vote.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the defense has asked that you be polled. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. We're going to run through each one of you. If you still remember your original jury number, if you don't, we'll give you some prompting. But if you'll stand up, we will then I'll ask you a series of questions, and then I'll move to the next juror. After you see me do it twice, you'll understand what we're doing. All right? So, Mr. Bailiff, if you'll
How
Clerk,
is
if you'll count
that
all the
possible?
jurors.
Number 3.
All right, ma'am. Is that your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, sir.
Was it a verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, sir.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can be seated.
Number 7.
All right, sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, next.
Number 14.
All right, ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, what?
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes.
All right, you may be seated.
Number 28.
All right, sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Number 40.
Last me. All right. Sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that still your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Number 41.
And ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes.
All right, next.
Number 48.
All right, ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can be seated.
Number 50.
All right, ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, sir.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, sir.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, sir.
All right, next.
Number 60.
All right, sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, Your
Was
Honor.
the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can be seated.
Number 65.
All right, sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can be seated.
Number 71.
All right, sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, sir.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes, sir.
And is that still your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Number 79.
All right, sir, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was the verdict agreed to by you?
Yes,
And is it still your verdict?
it is.
All right, you may be seated. That's all of our jurors. All right, anything else?
That's all.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that ends your service in this case. I want to thank you for your service. You are now free to go about your day and your lives and look up anything you want to about the case, talk to anyone about the case, or not, as you choose. That is completely up to you and how you want to handle that. There are the media folks have reached out and want to talk to you. The way we're going to do that is I have some packets of information from them that I'm going to give you in just a moment. Before y'all leave the area, you're free to stay and talk to anyone you want to. You're also free to leave and not talk to anyone. There are many folks that would like to have an opportunity to talk to you. Again, that is completely up to you. And whether you want to talk to the lawyers, any of the family members, or the media is completely up to you. And they will make themselves available. I'm sure the media folks will be out the front door. If you want to talk to them, I'm going to direct them not to bother you if you want to go out the back door and go to your car and leave the premises. All right, so with that, y'all can be excused to the jury room. Yeah, and if the alternates, y'all can step out. I'm going to give y'all that same information. So if y'all step out with the bailiff, y'all can come through. They're going to want you to walk around.
She is in total shock.
All right, y'all want to schedule sentencing?
Judge, let's go ahead and schedule it for sooner rather than later.
All right.
Due to
The bill. Terms about that. We can shoot for the first week of December. Second week of December. I'll talk with Tracy. I have jury trials scheduled the week before Thanksgiving. We might can do. I know I have a conference the first full week of December. So second week. So we will reach out to y'all and have a scheduling conference on when the best time to do sentencing would be. We'll try to get that scheduled for you. All right. But ma'am, you will be remanded into custody after you've been convicted. Your bond is deemed insufficient at this time. You'll be taken into custody to await sentencing. All right. All right, y'all can take her to the back. If y'all need a chance to talk to her, y'all keep her here for a little bit so that the attorneys can talk to her if they need to.
Still with us, criminal defense attorneys Jack Rice and national trial attorney Michael Jafer. Michael, let me start.
Riveted, and I'm really puzzled. I don't think I'm smart enough to know the answers to these questions or why the jury was able to go from being hung. I'm completely aghast. I don't know. I want to know. Smarter minds than me will one day tell me and will teach me. I don't think I've had the intellect necessary to answer this riddle. It's a riddle for me, maybe for somebody else it's not.
It was clear that what they were asking for was they wanted to hear that tape. That one singular tape, which was about, was he in the burn pile and when she said that. That mattered to them. There was some hesitation for a whole series of reasons, but clearly this is one of the things that they're always asking for. When you're deliberating, there is this very big question that, you know, if we had ciphers, if we had artificial intelligence making these decisions, maybe we could tease it all out. And we could say, okay, based upon this piece of evidence and this piece of evidence and this piece of evidence, we weighed it in this fashion. Hence, AI could tell us that. But as human beings, it changes everything.
It does. It does. Jack Rice, Michael.
1,000 miles away, I don't know any of these people. I was very riveted by this case from day one. You know, and it just makes me think, Judge Ashley, you know, when William Shakespeare wrote his tragedies and his plays, he didn't need to use his imagination. He just looked at human tragedies of people he probably knew. You're looking at this woman in a courtroom. She's in the same courtroom as her children. Two of them look just like her, and she blamed them for the murder of their father, her husband, and they blamed her for the murder of their father, her husband. And they're in the courtroom together, and this is a human tragedy of epic proportions, but it happens all the time. And we have the privilege of knowing about it and seeing it on Court TV.
Michael J. for sticking around with us. Thank you for that. Coming up, more reaction from the Farris guilty verdict. Plus, Court TV's Matt Johnson joins us live from outside the courthouse. Stay tuned.